And welcome to another retro rambling retro nonsense. Nonsense perhaps being the operative word, whatever that means. Hayley is here on her estate in Somerset. And Duncan has driven up in his corporate limousine.
Yes.
I am a young executive, no cuffs than mine are cleaner. I have a slimline briefcase and I drive the firm's Cortina. Benjamin, I don't know where that came from.
I was going to say Ian Jury. It sounded like an Ian Jury.
Well, reasons to be cheerful.
Yeah, well, you can understand where I'm coming from.
I can.
Billy Dicky.
That one. Now, last time on RRN, we were discussing conspiracy theories, and we didn't really get halfway through some of the world's great conspiracy theories. So we thought we'd extend it and sort of call this show part 2. And I'll let Duncan and Hayley carry on. I've got to have a cough.
Well, I'll just recap what we did in the first episode, so part 1, if you like. So if you're listening to part 2 and you've not heard part 1, obviously you need to go back. But just so you're across it, Hales, what did we do? We did Man landing on the moon, but did he? We did
Paul McCartney
and the Abbey Road album cover, and the idea that McCartney was no longer alive. We also did the assassination of JFK. We also did the Diana dying, Princess of Wales, as she was. And we also had Tommy's conspiracy theory about the true origins and meaning of Star Trek. Have I missed anything out?
9/11, Tommy had a little bit of a review of.
Kind of digging into the world of conspiracy theories. And again, if you didn't hear part 1, do go back and check it out, because we do have some theories as to why people think there's always an alternative explanation to what happened. Other conspiracy theories?
Well, surely. I mean, what takes the biscuit? I don't know where that phrase comes from, by the way, but we all know what it means. That's the theory that takes the biscuit is that senior American politicians convene in a basement underneath a fast food outlet to drink the blood of babies. And there are people in America, many people in America, possibly millions of people in America, who believe this utter garbage.
Well, that gained a lot of traction in the first Trump administration and his campaigning and the Clintons, right? That's where that comes from. But you're right, it's staggering that people believe that.
And they have to get more and more ridiculous. Yeah. And that is about as ridiculous as they've got so far. So brace yourselves.
Go on.
Planet Earth for whatever is going to come next.
What about Elvis being alive? Because I feel like that. I don't know if we've spoken, maybe we've done that one before, but anywho, there is part of me that would love to believe that Elvis is actually still alive. I think that's the only conspiracy theory that if I did enough research and I sat down in a pub with somebody who knew what they were talking about, I could probably walk out that pub after a couple of glasses of wine and believe it was true.
Yes.
We have talked about it in the past, because do you remember I've got this wish / idea that maybe all of these rock stars and famous people are actually living in the same place together, some kind of island somewhere. So you've got Elvis there, you've got Jimi Hendrix there. These are people whose lives ended prematurely. And who else have you got there? You've got Glenn Miller. You've got the Big Bopper, who was also on the plane with Richie Valens. All of these stars, these music stars, who just thought, I can't be doing all this fame stuff, and they've buggered off somewhere else. And maybe there's someone who actually orchestrates it all. Wouldn't that be great? Wouldn't that be great if there was an organisation that you could go to say, I just want to kind of disappear?
Do you know what? There are probably people you can pay to do that. Tommy, you've spoken about private detectives a few times. You've got a friend that...
He only phoned me this very afternoon to say, because he's a sensitive fellow, as well as a very dashing private detective. I can tell you he's bloody good. To say that he happened to notice that today was the 41st anniversary of him and me meeting at somebody's birthday party, which was also attended by Jeremy Beadle. And he remembers that. I did once he reminded me. I think I've told you before, one of his greatest coups was protecting the son of an American senator who was due to give evidence at a JFK assassination review, right? Because they were worried that somebody would get at the son and persuade the senator to change his evidence.
Wow.
So this guy's job was to protect the student who was at LSE without the student knowing that he was being protected. And so Rob did it. He had to protect the student for a week. And he did it by pretending to be a fan of the band that he discovered the boy liked. So he had a T-shirt made up saying Grateful Dead rule. And the bloke saw it and came over and said, hey, you a Dead fan? And Robin won best band in the world. And they became best muckers. And Rob used to sleep on the sofa in his living room in his flat, right? Protecting him, but the guy didn't know he was being protected. And then on the Monday when the job ended, he just disappeared. And somewhere out there in America is this bloke wandering around going, I'll tell you a funny thing happened to me when I was studying in England. This guy became my best friend ever. And he just vanished. And things like that tend to follow Rob around. As far as conspiracy, that was a sort of a conspiracy theory, or at least it was deception, you know, for the better. But how much deception goes on? There's a story that George Bush, who was then the head of the CIA, was halfway to Britain over the Atlantic, coming to Britain to persuade Harold Wilson he had no need to resign when the news came through that Harold Wilson had announced his resignation. So George Bush went, OK, we lost that one. Turn around, let's go home. That's an interesting conspiracy theory because people still don't really know with any certainty why Harold Wilson resigned. He was beginning to suffer, he said, from forms of dementia. He would tell a story and then 5 minutes later tell the same story. I know the feeling, but anyway. But how about this for a surreal moment? 4 or 5 months after Harold Wilson resigned as Prime Minister, I turned on my bedside radio in my little flat in Richmond, OK? And guess who was presenting the 9 o'clock in the morning until midday show? Harold Wilson.
Really?
Really?
Yeah! And he was saying, well, because I can almost do an impression of Harold Wilson, he's a Huddersfield boy. We'll be back with the travel and traffic and the weather after this one from Petula Clark. I thought, no, that's Mike Yarwood, it has to be. But it wasn't.
That's so interesting.
It was Mr. Gannick's raincoat.
The thing that well, is it a conspiracy theory? No, it's not. It doesn't fall into the category, but it's on the peripheral in terms of you could argue, I suppose. Could you argue it? Maybe the first examples of spin doctoring. No, not spin doctoring. I'll come back to that in a second. Of media manipulation of a politician is that Harold Wilson always smoked a pipe, right? Well, he's always seen with a pipe, but really behind closed doors, he was a cigar man.
He was.
And it was widely believed that the pipe was a prop for two reasons. One, it made him seem like a more relatable politician, particularly to the working classes, whatever that means. But also, he used to smoke his pipe in interviews, and it was a great diversionary tactic because if he was asked a question and he was sitting there thinking, I don't know, I'm going to answer this, he'd light up his pipe, which would give him 5 or 6 seconds to kind of just formulate an answer. And the reason why I hesitate with my view that it was probably the first bit of media manipulation, you can go back further and talk about Churchill and Churchill walking around bomb sites or bombed out bits of London wearing what were those suits called? Siren suits, like a boiler suit. You know, but so it's the idea of image and how you look is not brand new back in the 70s with Wilson. But the idea that you would use a pipe as a prop, but also as a diversionary tactic, I think is quite neat.
I think it's really clever, to be honest. And I do like it when people wear glasses that they don't need to wear glasses, they just wear them to look clever.
You're thinking of Philip Schofield, aren't you?
What?
Do you remember when Felix Schofield decided to promote himself from children's television to adult television? And he started doing mid-morning. And he started wearing glasses because he thought it made him look more authoritative.
I know
It works. It
does, you're right.
It does. I've got some friends who do it, and I'm like, and they were like, oh no, I only wear them if I want to look important or if I want to look like I know what I'm talking about. But it does kind of work. If somebody's wearing glasses and then if they put them, you know, when some people put them like halfway down their nose and then look over the glasses and look at you, it's almost quite intimidating, isn't it? It's quite a...
Well, it's intimidating, but also it depends who's wearing the glasses, because that can be quite alluring as well.
I was going to say I'd go for attractive.
Look, Hayley, I'll cut to the chase. If it was Nigella Lawson who was wearing the glasses and peering over
it's
the top.
always Nigella Lawson.
Well, I'm a man of basic needs, you know.
And she meets your both needs, doesn't she?
Exactly.
Sex and food.
Yeah, what else?
Food. She can make a good sausage, I bet.
I'm sure she could. So yeah, but you're right. I'm just kind of wonder how many people. Oh, I wonder how many politicians wear glasses and they don't need to. That would be
Keir Starmer.
right.
His glasses came from nowhere.
Well,
Did
that
they?
didn't work, did it then?
No, suddenly one morning, Keir Starmer's got glasses on.
Oh.
And he wears them for everything. He wears them for reading his notes when he's doing PMQs. And he wears them for looking across the house at Nigel Farage, or at least he used to look across the road at Farage. I don't know where he's going to end up sitting, Keir Starmer. Presumably he's going... This programme is being taped, episode is being taped shortly after the resignation of Keir Starmer, gentle listener. You might be listening in 2,000 years' time. It's possible.
I've just thought of something, just as you said it. You know, you just said, somebody could be listening in 2,000 years' time. At primary school, did you have to dig up and put like a time capsule thing underneath the playground somewhere? Because we did, and in my junior school, I remember putting a time capsule thing together. I guess it's still there, unless that. I mean, I don't know if that school's still there. It might be a housing estate now. But I wonder if that's. I'd love. Do you know what? I'd love that, to be able to time travel or pick up a time capsule from thousands of years ago, and that would be amazing.
You see, here's another conspiracy theory tied in with what you're saying. The reason that UFOs do what they do, which is to appear in the sky, hover, but not land and introduce themselves, is because they're not aliens. They are human beings from the future, a long way in the future, where they've managed to find a way to travel back through time. And if
I like that,
if it's
actually.
ever possible to travel through time, and you can't rule it out, then that means it's already happening. It's happening around us. Because time isn't the continuum that we always have believed in our innocence that it is. Everything that has happened is happening, and everything that's going to happen is happening. Right? It just depends on which page of the book it falls open at. Right. So why have they come back? Well, they come back in order to collect some healthy DNA to reintroduce it to their family, or to eradicate disease or whatever. And for that, they need some pure DNA going way back, which is why they tend to beam up farm workers and anglers who are fishing there at 2 o'clock in the morning, right? Because those people can be traced. And if you're a human being in 10 million years' time, you will be able to use the internet, or what remains of it, and that will be everything, in order to find out who your great, repeated 100 times, grandfather was, and locate him, and be taken back in your time capsule, which looks like a flying saucer, to have him beamed up. They'll stick a probe up where the sun don't shine, and then release him back to Earth, bewildered, telling people that he's been abducted by aliens. He hasn't. He's been abducted by men and women from the future, or whatever people are in. I don't think there'll be gender in 10 million years' time. Do you? No. We'll all just be human beings.
One of my favourite television programmes as a guilty pleasure about time travel is Goodnight, Sweetheart.
Oh, I used to love that.
You aware of that, Tom?
It wasn't the best thing that Nicholas Lyndhurst did.
No. But I thought the concept was quite interesting. And for those listening who aren't sure, I only thought it was...
Okay, look it up.
But I thought it was great, this idea that there's a guy I think it was the 20th century, who found this kind of like bit of wall that you could walk back through, and he had a separate life in World War II London. I thought it was a great concept.
Nicholas Lyndhurst.
It was Lawrence Marks and Maurice Gran, who are the same people that wrote Birds of a Feather and The New Statesman.
Nicholas Lyndhurst has possibly had the most extraordinary career in BBC television sitcomery. He has come up with, he has performed in Butterflies, I think he was in with Wendy Craig, which was a very risque comedy programme of its time, because she was having an affair.
With a bloke in a park.
An extramarital affair.
And her husband, was it Geoffrey Palmer?
I think it was.
Yeah.
And Nicholas Lyndhurst was the son.
Yeah.
I think he'd been in something before that. Yeah. And then, of course, Only Fools came along. And then there was... the one that you just mentioned, Goodnight, Sweetheart, thank you. And then, just when you thought that Nicholas Lyndhurst had retired and got himself an allotment, funnily enough, around the corner from where you or I live.
He uses our local supermarket.
Yes, he does. Yeah. He does.
No way. Have you seen him?
Oh, in the
No.
past, yeah.
I had a bloke call round my house once and said, I saw him coming up the path. So I opened the front door and said, can I help you? And he said, are you an actor? And I said, definitely not. Definitely not. You're not Rodney from Only for... I know. I said, he lives in the next village. And off the bloke went. How he got my address has always worried
A bit random, isn't it? Yeah.
I don't think so. I think he'd done a bit of sleuthing. In fact, I think he was up to no good, but I'm not going to detain you with that one. Then Nicholas Lyndhurst gets picked as being the Niles Crane of the remake of Frasier.
Yeah, yeah.
And do you know what? He
Yeah.
was brilliant in it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I remember that.
He really was. In one scene, he had to wear a very bad suit to a wedding, and it was a white suit. And it was collected a lot of witty comments from the other actors. And Lyndhurst played it so well. He didn't have anything to say, just react. And he was hilarious, absolutely hilarious. He's had, what is it, that 5, 6 star sitcom parts, and distinguished himself in every single one of them. And apparently, he's a bit of a drink of water when you meet him. You know, you hope that these people will sparkle, and apparently he's turned out nice again, hasn't it?
Yeah.
I said it was going to rain, but
You said Hales. So he can be sighted in Waitrose in Chichester. And he's quite tall, but he always wears a baseball cap pulled down really tightly over his eyes, which I often think makes him look even more conspicuous.
Oh, that's weird. Especially the fact that he's been around for a long time. I feel like at some point you need to relax a little bit, no? Did you ever watch Quantum Leap?
Brilliant
Which was the
programme.
American sort of version, really?
absolutely tip-top. Scott and the little fellow who was his guide, who accompanied him everywhere so that he could have some narrative. Because every week he was put into a different body, wasn't he? So one week he'd be, an elderly black American woman. Next week he'd be a truck driver, and he would look in the mirror to see what he looked like that day, and he'd look back at himself and go, I've got to live this out for the rest of...
Yeah, and he'd always be a hero every episode.
Yeah.
So it was always like a nice ending, wasn't there? He saved somebody, or, it was a bit like It's a Wonderful Life in that way, wasn't it? It's like, it's so heartwarming.
Is that any good, It's a Wonderful Life?
Oh, yeah, I always watch it every Christmas. I like that one.
Duncan, you a fan of It's a Wonderful Life?
I don't mind it. Have you seen it? Because your question suggests you've never watched it.
Oh, I've watched it several times.
Oh, right. Okay.
It's a good one because it's quite short as well as movies go, because it's quite old. It's quite an easy watch. You can watch it in one go quite easily.
I watched it late one night just before Christmas with a log fire in the company of a girl who I was very fond of for a variety of very valid reasons. And I'd sort of saved her from a relationship that wasn't going very well. And she called me Clarence.
Ooh.
As a result. And I was her Clarence. That's the angel in...
Yeah, that's it, Clarence.
It's a Wonderful Life. No man's alone if he has... No man's poor if he has friends. I can't do Jimmy Stewart either, can I? Films like that, Christmas films. Let's do this one. Is Die Hard a Christmas film or not?
Yes.
Yes, Hayley?
Don't know, never seen
seen
it,
it.
but I'll go. No, I don't know.
You see, this is interesting, but I think it is because it's set in Christmas time, right? So it's a Christmas film. But there is something interesting with your response. And my question to you about have you ever seen It's a Wonderful Life? There's certain films that I've never ever seen. And I tell people and they just go, well, you must have done. I've never seen Pretty Woman. Never seen it.
Oh,
It's a good movie.
Is it?
Yeah, oh, yeah.
It's
Oh,
worth
yeah,
watching.
yeah. I did a quiz for my neighbours a couple of weeks ago, and I discovered some interesting things, and I want to share one with you because you've mentioned Pretty Woman, which stars, Hayley, you're starter for 10. Who stars Julia
Roberts. That's it. Got there.
Do you want to know the most fantastic, weird thing that you're going to learn this year? Are you ready for this?
Yes.
Julia Roberts' birth was very expensive because it was troubled, and her parents couldn't meet the medical bills. So the medical bills for her birth were paid for entirely by Martin Luther King.
No.
I mean,
Why? How?
How? Because Julia Roberts' parents ran a theatre school, and they refused to engage in segregation. And Martin Luther King heard about this and sent his daughters to the theatre school of Julia Roberts' parents. And when he heard that they were going to have to sell their house in order to pay her medical bills, he wrote the check out himself. Is that fascinating or what?
Wow, where did you pick that up? That's like so random but brilliant at the same time.
I was Googling interesting questions, because the thing about doing a quiz is it's got to be interesting. Some people think that you just got to say how many kings have England had called Edmund. I mean, who gives a flying? But I would make it interesting, so I was looking for interesting things. So I've got one fact which is even more interesting than that.
Can I just ask you a question before this next fact? So what was the question in the quiz? Who paid for Julia Roberts' medical?
No, I do multiple choice, because that way it's easier for people. So I said, Martin Luther King paid for what? A, RFK's autopsy, B, bulletproofing the Pope-mobile, or C, the birth of actress Julia Roberts. Okay? Yeah. So we'll try my next question, and this is even more fantastic, and I hesitate to ask it out loud. Are you ready for this?
Yeah.
Go on.
The chainsaw was originally invented as an aid to what? A, siege warfare, B, sculpting gargoyles, or C, childbirth.
Oh, I'm going to say childbirth, because it sounds like the most sensible out of a wacky set of answers.
It is childbirth.
Oh.
Wow.
2 Edinburgh surgeons devised the first manually operated chainsaw for, I'm going to tell you because you're grown-ups, and I hope you're a grown-up listening to this as well, and if you aren't, ask somebody to guide you through it. In the event of a difficult birth, sometimes the pelvic bone of the mother needs to be reduced in size.
Oh my God.
And there was no way of making that happen internally. So these 2 surgeons invented it looked a bit like a whisk,
Right.
with a handle to turn, in order to just sort of file away rather than saw through the pelvic bone of the mother in distress. Don't you think that is so fascinating?
It's horrific.
It is. People went white at the quiz when I revealed the answer. I
I can kind of see why.
well, there's no other way.
That's not the
disguising
usual questions. I mean, I go to a lot of pub quizzes because it's one of my favourite things to do, and we've never had a question like that. Please don't run a pub quiz near me, because I quite like the usual questions, like how many number ones did the Beatles have, that kind of thing.
Yeah, who had a number 1 hit in 1989 with Eternal Flame? That's the comfort zone, right?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I want to know about pelvic bones being broken by a chainsaw.
I like the comedy skit of an alternative comedian. I can't remember which one it is. He said, I was in Liverpool overnight. I decided to go into a pub. I was on my own. They were running a pub quiz. I thought I might as well enter it. Just out of irony, I answered every single question with the Beatles or Stephen Gerrard, and I came second.
Yeah.
Oh my God, that's brilliant.
Is it?
Yeah, and that's so spot on.
Now, here's one. Fingers on buzzers. Where does the
Can't
word
get worse, surely.
Where does the word quiz come from?
Oh, I don't know. Good one. I don't know.
Anybody?
No.
Legend has it, and I don't believe it, legend has it that it was an Irish theatre manager who struck a bet in a bar that he could introduce a new word to the English language overnight. And the word that was agreed was quiz. Quiz. And he won the bet because he gathered all the street urchins of Dublin, and there were plenty of them, gave them each a piece of chalk and told them to go out into the street and write the word quiz on every wall, building, bus stop, whatever. And so the next morning, all these Dubliners were going to work. They were going, well, what? I'll do the accent. Oh, what is a quiz then? What is this quiz that's narrating then? What is a quiz? And so it became synonymous with what it was, which was a challenging question.
That's clever.
I don't think it's true, but I like it. Sometimes, the ending of Liberty Valance, the man who shot Liberty Valance, when the legend becomes fact, print the legend. A journalist is talking. Now, we've practically hit the mark.
Ooh.
So since we are... Oh, Hayley, we had a very nice message from Zach. And it was also possibly long enough to make a separate programme out of. And that's good.
Yes.
That's a good thing. Shall we do it next time?
Why not?
Okay. All right. Who's going to do our contact details? Because I'm rubbish at that, along with many other
Just in the
things.
process. Even after a year, I still have to look it up, so forgive me. Ramblingretrononsense@gmail.com is the email. Rambling Retro Nonsense, that's all one word, at gmail.com. WhatsApps we like getting. We love getting messages. We'll read them out. But also you can send a voice note to the WhatsApp number and we'll play them out. And it would be great to get some more voice notes. So the number is 07405 341 500. That's the WhatsApp number for WhatsApp messages, or send voice notes to 07405 341 500. And you'll be listening to this either on Apple Podcasts or Spotify, which is great, and possibly on YouTube. And if it is YouTube, that's your preferred kind of way of checking us out, please do hit the subscribe button. I think we're done.
Talk soon. Well, we will.